students, welcome back to the BSc IV Session Basic English course. I am Dr. Vidya Patil, serving as Assistant Professor of English at Government First Grade Women's College, Bidar. I am going to guide and assist you in comprehending the various lessons and grammar topics which have been included in this semester. In the previous videos, we have already discussed about the first lesson, women empowerment. We have got a fair idea about these different aspects of women empowerment. In today's video, we will be compiling all these different topics which have been discussed in this lesson, and we will try to look at it as a whole. So students, let us begin with this video. As I have already told you, Unit 1 aims to enhance your essay writing skills. The first lesson, Women Empowerment, is an example of a fine essay. The essay begins with a quote of Malala Yousafzai, who is a Nobel laureate. She says, "I raise up my voice not so I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot succeed when half of us are held back." This quote forms the basis for the new age women empowerment. Even in the 21st century, we find that there is a lot of discrimination against women in almost every part of this world, and more so in our own country. Patriarchal societies, no matter where, always exploit and victimize women. Even though almost 50% of the world's population consists of women, unfortunately, most of them are denied the basic rights such as the right to education, the right to freedom of speech, the right to voting power, and even they are not allowed to develop their own individual identity. Crimes are reported every day which are specifically targeted against women. Even the so-called advanced and developed countries have failed to accept women empowerment in totality. In India, women enjoy a status of equality with men as per the constitutional and legal provisions. Enormous strides have been taken to include women in all parts of the society. Women are excelling in various fields as diverse as literature, astrophysics, and finance and banking. But at the same time, we find that our newspapers are filled with reports of dowry killing, female infanticide, rapes, and domestic violence. After seeing all this, we sometimes wonder whether women empowerment is just a virtual reality, something which is imaginary and not to be seen on the ground. The deep-rooted ideologies of gender bias and discrimination need to be eliminated immediately. Only then can we get true development and growth. It is very necessary that we immediately take up certain measures such as removing or freeing the women from confinement to their private domestic realms, to remove the restrictions on their mobility, give them better access to health services, nutrition, education, and employment, to include them into the public and political spheres. Students, you have now been introduced to the term women empowerment. Let us now try and understand the actual meaning of the term women empowerment and how it is relevant for us in the present time. Let's understand the meaning of women empowerment. The term women empowerment is quite self-explanatory. In today's world, we have seen that in spite of all the progress which women have made, there are still innumerable women who are dependent on men for their basic needs and who are deprived of their basic rights. Therefore, women's empowerment refers to the complete emancipation or liberation or freedom of women from the socio-economic shackles of dependency and deprivation. That is, women no longer need to depend on men for anything, or who are not deprived of any of their basic rights. A truly empowered woman is one who is encouraged to be self-reliant, economically independent, who has a positive self-esteem, who can generate confidence to face any kind of a situation, and who actively participates in the socio-political spheres. There is a growing demand today to accept women as individuals who are capable of making rational and educated decisions about themselves as well as the society. It is necessary that we increase and improve the economical, political, and legal strengths of women. Women should get the equal rights as men. Also, the United Nations organization has outlined certain goals for development and sustainability. Among these goals, gender equality has been defined as one of the major goals which needs to be attained. Lastly, we need to improve the quality of life for women, for their families, and for the communities where women belong to. In order to achieve a well-rounded development, we need to address the various aspects of women empowerment. So, let us now look into detail at these different facets of women empowerment. One of the most important facets of women empowerment is the human rights of a woman, where she is considered as an individual. Every woman needs to have the right to express her thoughts and opinions freely. She should impart self-confidence so that she can articulate and assert the power of independent decision making. That is, individual empowerment is most essential. Women need to be made aware of their rights and their social position, which has been entitled to them by the Constitution. The next important facet of women empowerment is the social empowerment of women. The major aspect of social empowerment is promoting gender equality. That means creating a society where both men and women enjoy the same opportunities, outcomes, rights, and obligations in every sphere of life. Educational empowerment of women is one of the most crucial and necessary factors. Enabling women to grab all kinds of knowledge, skills, and gaining self-confidence so that they can participate fully in the development process is of utmost importance. Giving preference to the girl child for educational opportunities is one way in which we can begin doing this. The next important aspect of women empowerment is economic and occupational freedom. We need to reduce the financial dependence of women on men. Women are a significant part of the human resource. Therefore, it is necessary that we promote sustainable livelihoods by encouraging women to set up cottage industries or small entrepreneurships which are managed by them only. This will lead to better quality of life not only within the family but to the overall society. Another major aspect of women empowerment is empowering women through the legal knowledge. Our constitution has seen to it that women are considered as equal and there are various rules and laws in favor of women. But the implementation of these rules and laws is very weak. Therefore, it is necessary that a provision for an effective legal structure which is supportive of women empowerment takes place. We need to spread awareness about women's legal rights and laws in order to prevent them from getting exploited. Therefore, the most important aspect here is to address the gap or the difference between what the law has actually prescribed and what actually takes place. Political empowerment of women is another most crucial aspect of women empowerment. Women need to be encouraged to participate in the political decision making process as well as in the governance. The Indian Constitution enshrines several laws which act or serve as a safeguard for gender equality. One of the most important laws in support of gender equality is Article 14, which is equality before law. This law states that the state or the government cannot make any discrimination on the grounds of gender, caste, religion, or any other such factors. There is another important law, Article 16(2), which talks about equal opportunities for all. The law states that no discrimination should take place on the grounds of gender, caste, religion, or any other factor at the time of employment. Article 23, which supports right against exploitation, is an important law which prohibits traffic in human beings and forced labor. Article 39A, which is in favor of right to livelihood, states that both men and women have equal right to have adequate means of livelihood. Article 40 talks about reservation of women in the panchayat elections, and Article 42 is an important law in support of women where the law states that it is the duty of the government to provide just and humane conditions at the workplace for women and also provide maternity relief. Article 51A(e), which talks about the dignity of women, is a very important law which makes it a bounded duty for every Indian citizen to uphold the dignity of a woman. Along with these different laws, there are also certain other provisions which have been made to support women. Various laws and then amendments to these laws have led to a larger inclusion of women into the mainstream. Some of these important laws are the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, which gave women equal share in the ancestral property. The Equal Remuneration Act of 1976, Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961, Child Marriage Prohibition Act of 1929, the Indecent Representation of Women Act of 1986 and the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955, which prevents bigamy and polygamy, are certain important steps which have been taken for women empowerment. Various government schemes such as the Rashtriya Mahila Kosh and STEP, that is Support to Training cum Employment for Women, have helped to provide financial development of rural women through self-sustainable employment. Also, certain recent schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and Sabla have reduced female infanticide and promoted the importance of educating the girl child. Various councils and bodies have been set up to see to it that proper laws and regulations are set up for women empowerment. Some of these important bodies are the National Commission for Women, Department of Women and Child Development, the Parliamentary Committee on Empowerment of Women. These committees have suggested various laws as well as reforms or amendments for these laws. The National Policy for Empowerment of Women 2001 has been created to address all forms of violence against women, including physical and mental, and also violence which arises from various customs and traditions. So students, we have now understood what is the actual meaning of the term women empowerment. It needs to be understood in a comprehensive manner. Let us now try to find out why it is important in our country to have women empowerment. In a country like ours, which is made up of a strong patriarchal society and where the people are highly influenced by deep-rooted socio-cultural values, it is very easy for women to get exploited and victimized. Therefore, it is the need of the hour to try and create an egalitarian society. That is, a society where all are treated as equals and where all can get access to equal opportunities. Here, in such a society, there should be no scope for gender superiority. All government policies should aim to try and identify all such customs, traditions, and such forces which try to keep male dominance alive, and such traditions and customs should be eliminated from our society. Women are roughly 50% of the nation's population, but majority of the women are economically dependent on men and have no source of income. That is because most of them are unemployed. That is why the economy of our country is skewed, that is unbalanced, because a majority of our human resources remain unutilized. Women are generally considered to be less competent intellectually and physically when compared to men. Whenever women try to get employment, their actual competencies are not at all evaluated, and instead they have to face a lot of bias and prejudice. Though scientific data has proven that women are better at multitasking when compared to men, still we find that they are the second choice for employers. That is, employers usually refrain from employing women when compared to men. Students, it is very necessary that we realize that women empowerment is synonymous with the complete development of the society. It goes without saying that an educated woman who has got a fair knowledge about health, hygiene, cleanliness is capable of creating a disease-free environment for her family. Also, a self-employed woman is capable of contributing not only to the family's income but also to the overall GDP of her country. Most double income families have a much better quality of life and find it easier to get out of the poverty trap. We also see that women are still denied basic education and are not allowed to pursue higher education in spite of being capable and competent. This colossal waste of talent is keeping our economy back because half of the population continues to be deprived of education and as a result of employment. This is leading to our country being economically backward. More than half of the country's population continues to remain deprived of education and employment, which in turn leads to a loss of income and affects the economy of our country. Those women who are aware of their legal rights are less likely to become victims of domestic violence or any other form of exploitation. Generally, we have seen that women have proved that they have an inherent aptitude in organizing and in the maintenance of their households. This shows that they are specifically suited for political and civil leadership roles. That is why it is very necessary that women now come out and take up more roles in the political and public sphere. The 73rd and 74th Amendments to the Constitution, which took place in 1993, have provided certain special powers to women, such as reservation of women and the new Panchayat Raj system. This has helped in empowering women, at least at the village level. We have also seen that when women have taken up political positions in these different areas, it has led to a marked reduction in corruption. Women empowerment is a burning issue. There is no doubt about it that we all need to immediately attend to this problem. Women are different than men in nature, but this in no way means that women are inferior to men. In the last few years, we have noticed that there has been a sea change in the status and role of women in the society. There has been a lot of shifts in the policy approaches of the government. During the 70s, the government policy was mainly focused on welfare of women. During the 80s, it shifted to development. During the 90s, it was again focused on the growth of women, and at present, we find that the government policy is focused on empowerment of women. But empowering women socially, economically, educationally, politically, and legally is going to be a Herculean task. It's not easy to change the deep rooted perception that women are inferior, dependent, and dispensable. That is, most men in our country, even the so called educated people, still believe that women are inferior to men. A lot of time will be needed to eradicate this perception. Until and unless the right kind of effort and in the right direction is put in, this change cannot be brought about. We need an organized approach from the government and law enforcement agencies to try and liberate women from all kinds of evils and exploitation. But more than anything else, it is necessary that girls and women wake up and avail their rights, become aware of their rights and the opportunities which are offered to them by the Constitution and the law. So students, we have now discussed about what is the meaning of women empowerment and why it is important for a country like India. I'm sure, students, that you will now contribute to the growth and development of our country by empowering yourselves and becoming aware of your rights. I hope you liked this video. I will be coming back to you with another video related to one of the topics from your textbook. Thank you.